What's going on, YouTube? If you don't know who I am, my name is Brandon Herrera. I'm a 07 Firearms Manufacturer, owner of the AK Guy, designer of the AK-50, and all-around kind of court jester on the internet. Today, in honor of Avengers Endgame coming out, we are going to be going over some of the scenes involving firearms in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, kind of just showing you some little background on the scenes, and just kind of how it stacks up to the way it would work in real life. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in with the movie that started it all, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man from 2008. So here we have, for the first time, Tony Stark has suited up in the Mark I Iron Man armor. Such a freaking cool scene. I remember watching this in the theaters when I was in like high school when it first came out, and this was so cool. So he's welded up a bunch of what looks like steel plates and stuff like that. So obviously stopping bullets, that kind of makes sense. People use steel targets all the time, steel body armor. So if you have thick enough plates of steel, we'll totally stop a bullet. Right, so that bit. Ricochets do actually happen. However, those are usually like kind of glancing shots and things like that that aren't such a severe angle. This right here, a ricochet happening and going completely back where it came from, 180 degrees, still having the energy to kill you. Not likely. Shooting steel targets is actually very common, just for sports shooting. You just have to make sure you're far enough back, because when the bullet hits the steel, a lot of times it disintegrates. But it's still, the fragments of the bullet go somewhere, so you can injure yourself if you're not careful. But a full-on ricochet, shooting a steel plate that in this case was relatively flat and coming right back at you, I'm gonna say very improbable. Alright, so here we have our lovely, not Taliban gentleman, hopping on the M2 Modus. Now the Modus is a 50 BMG belt-fed machine gun. This is where we start testing the boundaries of Tony's armor here, because the 50 BMG is no joke. You're talking about a 700 grain projectile at about 3,000 feet per second. That sucker carries a lot of energy with it. And so depending on how thick this steel plating is, it would have to be pretty thick to stop a 50 cal. I don't think there's a single deployable armor system out there for an individual that can actually stop a 50 BMG. So this is where we're starting to get kind of into the range of implausible. It's not totally impossible, but the way he's taking some of these bullets, it's looking pretty unlikely that we're going to see a Mark II armor. Alright, so moving on from the first Iron Man, we are going up to one of the next big heavy hitters in the MCU, the first Avengers movie. So we're going to take a look at a couple scenes in that one. Asgardian body armor pretty much kicks ass. Loki's taken a lot of bullets there, and his armor seems relatively thin for the amount of, he's taken several shots from some AR-15s, some handguns, things like that. Again, not gonna say impossible, it's Asgardian tech, so who knows what the hell they make it out of, but he's not even flinching when taking those rounds from a full-size rifle caliber, so I'm gonna say just badass body armor. Actually, come to think of it, he kind of gets his ass kicked by the Hulk later and survives, so yeah, I'm just gonna say really nice armor. Just another little bonus scene here in the first Avengers movie. I just want to give total A for effort to Nick Fury here for looking like he's about to attempt to take out a fighter jet with a 9mm handgun. Especially at that range. It's a little optimistic, but give the director full credit on that one. Now we're going to move right on along, skip a couple of years from Avengers, onto Thor Ragnarok, one of my favorite movies in the entire MCU. Unfortunately, for a couple of gun guys out there, I'm probably going to make this movie a little bit harder for you to watch. Let's just kind of dive right in here. So I thought the funnier bits of this movie was Karl Urban's character here is showing these lovely ladies his two M16s that he supposedly got from Texas, even though they're completely full auto, so I'm not sure which either SOT dealer he stole them from, or if the Hollywood producers actually think that you can buy full auto AR-15s in Texas. But Texas is a pretty loose state with gun laws. They're not quite that loose, but anyways, later on in the movie we see him put these to use, so that's the bit we're going to be talking about. Full credit to Marvel, this is pretty kick-ass. So of course the first time I watched this scene I was, getting a little irritated with the typical Hollywood stereotype of shooting 100 rounds of ammo and not reloading once. Those are, at most 30 round magazines. So and even in this case, because you can't say he's doing off-screen reloads because he's got two of them, one in each hand. So unless he's doing like some weird juggle stuff with magazines he clearly doesn't have. That was the first thing. The second thing about this one is much worse, and I have not been able to watch this scene with a straight face since. So pretty much any AR-15 platform, AR-15 type rifle will have what is called a dust cover. So that sits on the side of the receiver and it closes up the action so that you can't get any dirt or debris or anything into that could potentially cause it to jam. Now that flips down, it's spring-loaded, it flips down anytime you either load a round or you fire a round, because the bolt carrier, when it comes backward, knocks it open. So it actually has space for the empty brass, the spent casings, to eject from. Asgardian magic strikes again on this one because pretty much the entire scene, his ejection port stays closed, which means those infinite 1 to 200 rounds that he's shooting out of his 20 to 30 round magazines is phasing through the dust covers. Last but certainly not least, we're moving from Thor Ragnarok over to Infinity War, and we see our friend here, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, who is fighting the Battle of Wakanda with an M249 saw. A little optimistic considering you're stacking up against the likes of, Thanos, the Children of Thanos, the Hulkbuster armor, War Machine, all these big heavy hitters, and you're basically just a dude with a, light machine gun and 5.56. But, he's still a superhero by the comic standards, or at least, someone who is better than the average Joe with an M249. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. I think I figured out his real superpower, though, is getting one of these Surefire 60-round magazines to actually feed. That's quite the feat, in case you've never used one, so I think that might actually be his real superpower. As much shade as I'm about to throw on Bucky Barnes here for using a saw in the Battle of frickin' Wakanda, it's still not quite as bad as Black Widow thinking she's going to wreck Thanos' day with her little 9mm Glock subcompact. So, Bucky's at least, putting in his A game. So those are all the movies that we have lined up for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you like this style of content and want to see more of it, please let us know down in the comments. If you didn't like the style of content, also let us know, but just kind of be soft about it. My ego's fragile. So if you guys want to see more videos about this sort of thing, like with the MCU, we definitely left plenty of movies out there and bits about gunplay and whatnot open that we can do another video in. Or if you want to see another movie or TV show that you want to talk about, see us talk about the gunplay, let me know in the comments. And as always, I will see you on Monday or Thursday, because we're doing that now. Thanks, guys. Actually, you know what? I'm going to see you in the next 3 seconds because you're going to click on one of our videos there in the related videos. I'm pointing to the wrong side. It's down there. It's over there on the related videos. Cut! What is going on, YouTube? If you don't know who I am, my name is Brandon Herrera. I'm the owner of the AK Guy. Oh, sorry. I screwed up the order. Try that again. Sweating like a whore in church. 50 BMG has a 70, or excuse me, juggling mags that he clearly doesn't have, unless he's pulling them out of the prison wallet. Scarlet Witch, I forgot his name, War Machine.